Hey everyone, appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Not sure if you have watched my first one. It was kind of long and drawn out, so I'm going to try and make this one a little bit quicker today. And I want to talk about co-parenting, and it shouldn't be so difficult. And unfortunately, most of these difficult co-parenting situations result in alienation of the children. Um, with that, it's very, very difficult on the children when it comes to co-parenting, because most separations are due to one person. Usually it's not a mutual thing, especially when you're not 30 years into a marriage or relationship. Really, what gets to me is how drug into it children get. They truly get affected because mom or dad talk crap about each other and sometimes realize or don't even care that the children are around. And it really needs to be run like a business. It needs to be black and white, and sometimes the courts can help you with that. Unfortunately, in my case, they weren't able to. There's a lot of gray areas. My ex, decided to show up at my work, my house, any given time. My phone wouldn't stop. It was absolutely ridiculous. If I didn't answer my phone, the cops were called, and as if the children were in jeopardy or something. And the kids can feel that. They can feel that, whether if you talk about it in front of them or not. They can feel the stress. They can feel the anxiety, and it's really, really hard on the children. And as far as my situation goes, there were way too many gray areas. It got to the point of no contact, and my ex would get a slap on the hand by the judge. And I've taken so many days off of work, and unfortunately it's been so hard to even see my kids because of her showing up at my work and my home. And obviously that's crushing my new relationship with my wife. Makes it very difficult to keep on a day-to-day basis. And I've been sat down to and talked to at work. She can't be showing up here. She showed up at my wife's work. Like, it's crazy, right? This is a kind of a one-off situation, I'd hope, but it does happen. And unfortunately, it takes a long time for something to happen about it. Going on 2 years in this situation. And unfortunately, in the county I'm in, I can't get a harassment restraining order. I tried to co-parent properly. Was very flexible. Tried to keep an open relationship, but I learned quickly that it needed to be black and white. It needs to be run like a business. Schedules, holidays, child support obligations, everything, right? And child support's a whole nother video. It's you have the kids 50-50. It's depending on incomes and stuff. Obviously, there are guidelines, and maybe some should kick in some assistance, and some shouldn't, right? But back to alienation and how hard it is on the children. My kids started coming home saying, "Mom said we don't have to listen to you." There's a specific example where I had firm guidelines, and it was really tough to deal with this. It finally all started clicking. My oldest daughter, she got home from school, did homework, which was a fight in itself, because she said, "Mom doesn't make us do homework until after dinner. Dinner time 7 o'clock. Like, okay. Blew that off. Later on that night, it kind of all came out when dinner time was around. Said, I don't want to eat that. We're talking like they eat home cooked meals, pot roast, homemade lasagna, grilled chicken, steak. I mean, good meals, healthy meals. And it's not like I'm making them eat asparagus and green beans constantly. I give them a wide variety of vegetables too, but we made steak for dinner. My oldest daughter said, I don't like that. I don't want to eat that. And I'm like, here, just eat this much of it. And it was a 45-minute fight. And I said, well, why don't you like steak? And she goes, I don't like it. I said, well, can you eat this tonight? And, you're going to not like some foods. Unfortunately, we can't just have mac and cheese every night for dinner. And she goes, well, I'm not hungry. So, okay, well, what'd you have for lunch? Mom didn't make me lunch. What do you mean Mom didn't make you lunch? I know she made you lunch. She made me chicken nuggets. Okay. And did you eat all your chicken nuggets? No. Why not? I didn't want chicken nuggets. Okay, so you didn't eat anything. Mom made me shrimp poppers instead. And that's what I'm talking about. You have two different parenting styles. One might be firm and one might not be so firm. It might just give in. And that is a form of alienation. You and the other parent need to be on the same page, and you need to figure out what's best for the child and what's in the best interest of the child. So, I mean, there's really a lot that goes into it, and I can talk about it for hours on how that stuff affects children. And that's part of co-parenting. You need to be on the same page. It needs to be black and white. Still need to try and maintain the same rules as much as possible through the separation, through custody, and everything else. And another thing is with alienation is having the kids around her whining, or your spouse or ex-spouse, while you're complaining about your ex. That's tough. That's so hard on the children, because then they start seeing that person as a bad person. Like, dad must be a bad person, or mom must be a bad person. An example was my ex showed up at my friend's house 3 days after a judge told her to leave my friends and family alone, don't contact me, stuff like that. And she shows up at my friend's house, mind you, a block and a half away from me, and was my coworker. And he let me know and sent me pictures of the girls, and was telling me how much she was complaining about me. And nobody's perfect, and we all have our faults, but that's the stuff that can't happen, because the kids were right there the whole time listening. So anyways, like I said, I want to make this a very brief video. Wanted to share a little bit about what I've experienced, and I could talk about it for hours. Any feedback, comments are greatly appreciated. Please like, share, subscribe, anything. This stuff needs to get out. This needs to reach people, and in fact, it needs to reach the court system, quite frankly, because the judge I'm working with just shrugs that stuff off, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal, especially for an 8 and 10-year-old to go through this. They are in this phase in their life where their mom and dad separated, and they're just trying to piece everything together and figure it out. And unfortunately, they think I'm a bad guy, even despite me being there since day one, 100%. 100% financially, emotionally, and physically being there for them and their mother. So 10 years. Anyways, once again, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Thank you so much. Have a good night.